What shampoo do you use?
朋友们，大家好，我是尚达曼。
你的儿时梦想是什么？
My childhood dream was to be a sportsman, a very serious sportsman. I played football, athletics, cricket, and hockey. Hockey was my most advanced game because I was playing for combined schools.
第一份薪水买了什么？
I think I saved most of my money for the first several salaries, but after about 5 years, I spent $6,000 from my accumulated savings to buy a 15-year-old car. In those days, it was actually quite cheap because there was no COE in that time. Because I was then already courting my future wife, and we used to go up and down Malaysia all the time, and the car was very helpful.
人生最大转折点。
When I met my future wife, we didn't suddenly fall in love. We just became good friends, better friends, very close friends, and we were just together. We just knew we were going to spend our lives together.
异族恋会不会很辛苦？
In those days, in the 1980s, people used to stare at you, and they would especially stare at her. This doesn't happen anymore. We were always on the same wavelength. For us, race was just not an issue at all.
最喜欢妻子的3大理由。
She loves interacting with people like I do. She speaks more languages. She has a empathy for people, which I really appreciate. I love my wife because we share everything together. We share our thoughts together. We share our family time with our children together. We talk about our children behind their backs. We just share everything together.
What do you talk about your children behind
Oh,
your
that's
back?
totally confidential.
做过最疯狂的事。
Well, the most dangerous thing that I did actually together with my family, once we were having a holiday in China, and that was in the old days, and we were in an amusement park, and we were the only people in the whole amusement park. And we decided to go on a roller coaster, but the roller coaster started before our seatbelts were on. And it was really frightening because we could have lost our lives. But fortunately, my eldest son was with my wife, holding her down. I was with my youngest kid, a little girl, and I was holding her down. And then our other 2 boys were strong enough to hold themselves down. It was very scary.
怎么让你的头顶发亮？
I inherited my shiny head from my father and probably went back generations because my grandfather was the same. So there's no trick to it. I don't do anything to my head. It just happens to be shiny because I'm naturally bald.
What shampoo do you use?
A normal shampoo. A normal shampoo.
最后一次哭是几时？
The last time I teared very badly was the day that my wife and I were saying farewell to our residence in Taman Jurong. And we spent the entire day, and several thousand people turned up. And it was very hard to stop crying for my wife and tearing badly for myself. It was very emotional because we got to know people very well.
你被派去达曼花园当议员，是不是因为你的名字是尚达曼？
Not at all. Although actually, the original name of that constituency was Jurong Town. When I got there, and after I was elected, my volunteers, grassroots leaders and volunteers, many of whom had been there for many years, said that actually the original name was Taman Jurong. So we all decided that we should rename the constituency Taman Jurong, not because of my name, but that was the original name. We must respect history. It is just a coincidence.
为什么愿意做总统，但不愿意做总理？
Well, I always thought we already had a very good PM and there was no need for him to retire anytime soon. And then I realized we had a very good set of younger people. Amongst them, we should find the next PM, which we now have. I never aspired for any position in life, all the way since I was young.
Then how do you aspire to be the president now?
Not aspire to be a president. I've decided it is my responsibility to put myself forward because I think the future is going to be different from the past. And I believe I can add optimism to Singapore in this new future.
有些人认为你不当部长当总统有点浪费，你怎么看？
Oh, I don't think so at all. I think it's going to be a very important transition in Singapore, domestically, and a very important transition internationally because of all the tensions in the world. It will require skill on the part of the government, Prime Minister and his team. It will also require skill and effort on the part of the President. And because of my background, on the ground in national policy making, as well as my international background, I think I can play a very useful role. I will not be underused.
努力学习还是聪明学习？
Well, in my case, it was neither. I definitely didn't study hard because I had great difficulty in school concentrating. I couldn't concentrate for more than 5 minutes in any class throughout my school years. But I don't think I was studying smart either. I would just study last minute.
What about advice to the youth? Will you ask them to study hard or study smart?
I will ask them to study smart. Our youth are caught up too much in studies and don't have enough time for other things in life. There's too much pressure too early in life. So I think we have to unwind, and studying smart is definitely better than spending all your time studying.
怎么像你一样努力玩耍还能考到好成绩？
The real grades you get in life are how you perform at age 30, 40, 50, 60, and how you look after others. You know, the human brain is a wonderful thing. No matter how you do in school, your brain keeps learning after that. I never worried too much about my grades when I was young, quite honestly. I was never a scholar or anything like that. But I knew that I would be able to keep learning through life.
你最喜欢的华文俗语是什么？
天生我材必有用. Everyone has a use in life. Everyone is born with some strength and can be useful to society. Everyone can contribute.
What's your favorite Chinese song?
安静 by Chou. It's a soulful song, and he sings it in a very soulful way.
Can you sing it for us?
I sang it together with Sylvester Sim, in fact, many years ago in Jurong. But it's a difficult song to just sing on the spot. I have to practice a bit.
怎么应付讨厌你的人？
I've always taken the attitude that don't let praise or criticisms get to your head too much. Just do what you feel is right, be yourself, and try to do the best you can.
如果可以成为另外一个人，你想变成谁？
I think I would have liked to be a secondary school principal. I think youth at that age, 13 to 16, can really change. Sometimes they get lost, sometimes they gain confidence, and I like giving people a chance to discover their strengths and to gain confidence. I feel it's really important for the rest of their lives.
你现在多常参与体育活动？
I have a stationary bicycle at home, and I usually cycle at the same time that we watch TV, either watching the news or watching thrillers.
Why not cycle outside?
Unfortunately, when I was a minister, I always needed to have my SO with me, and I don't want to bother my SOs in the middle of the night, particularly because I sometimes exercise very late at night.
Do you play soccer with your kids?
We used to for a long time, until they just got so good, and it would have been boring for them to play with me because they were just so much better than I was.
They didn't give you any chance.
No, they didn't give me any chance at all. No chance at all.
Do you use TikTok?
Only now started using TikTok for the first time in my life. I'm quite enjoying it, and I'm learning a lot. I previously used Facebook. Even then, I wasn't very active. Because all these years in Jurong, I enjoyed interacting with people face to face.
What's the most Gen Z slang you know?
Oh, I can't answer that question.
你在国际上有多出名？
I have a standing with international peers, which is why I have been asked to chair various high-level councils and expert groups over the years. I've never asked for those positions, but one must always exercise leadership internationally with humility. You must understand the challenges other countries face. We must understand that there are different positions different countries have. And coming from a small country, Singapore, we must be good at bridging those views.
你希望成为怎么样的总统？
A president who feels for people and wants to develop in Singapore a culture of respect for everyone. Respect for the poor, for the disadvantaged, respect for people who need a second or third chance. So that's why my campaign slogan is respect for all. 相互敬重.
Are you relieved that's over? What do you think
Greatly
of the
relieved. 敬点赞分享，再见。